Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about the two wingers that Barcelona do want to sign this summer. It has been fully confirmed that Barcelona want to strengthen their attack and they want to bring in two different wingers, and we're going to be discussing who exactly that could be. Now, to understand why Barcelona have been so heavily keen on trying to sign two wingers and why they have been taking such a long time is because they wanted some answers with Nico Williams, because Nico Williams was one of the players that Barcelona wanted to target, but they wanted to understand where did Nico Williams want to go. Now, let's understand what has been going on with Nico and Bayern Munich for us to also understand why Barcelona are selecting these two current wingers that we're going to be talking about later in this video. So, Bayern Munich are going all in for Nico Williams. It is fully confirmed. Bayern Munich are no longer going to be looking at Barcola. They want to go for Nico. And Bayern has already had two face-to-face meetings with the players' camp showing how seriously they're trying to pursue this deal. The financials, though, are very complex for Bayern Munich, and they're not really concerned with the release clause. Their main challenge is to match Nico Williams' personal salary demands and ensuring he accepts their project over other suitors. And Nico Williams is asking for around 15 to 20 million euros per season gross. And that is something, once again, that Bayern Munich are like, okay, could we pay this amount? Are we okay with this? Maybe we can negotiate something lower. But they really do want to have Nico Williams in their team. Athletic Club are determined to retain Nico Williams, and they are preparing a very lucrative contract extension offer to convince him to stay, banking on his loyalty and guaranteed playing time. Of course, there are other teams out there like Chelsea and Arsenal who are also very interested in Nico, but both the Premier League sides view the deal as too expensive and structurally difficult, especially with competing offers from top clubs. Internally, Bayern already have a succession plan in motion, meaning this is what the team is most likely going to look like for the next season. They're going to be having Musiala to take on the role of Leroy Sané. Leroy Sané will be leaving Bayern Munich and Musiala will be slotted into the number 10 position. Then that would mean that Nico Williams will go to the left wing position with Olise on the right wing position and Kane up top as the number 1 striker. This is a perfect and ideal plan for Bayern and for the players overall, because for Musiala, it has been his dream to wear the number 10 shirt, aligning with the club's vision. And this also does signal a long-term tactical reshuffle focused on the young German star. And I find it crazy to know that Bayern Munich may very well be one of the best attacking teams in the next season. Last season, they were okay, but this season for sure, if you talk about Musiala, Olise, Nico Williams, and Kane up top, that is going to be insane. And once again, the reason why Bayern Munich are going after this plan is because Ralf Rangnick did give his opinion on what he wanted on the wings, and he said Bayern should sign Nico and bring in Olise to go to the right wing position and have Musiala as the number 10. It's going to be very dynamic, extremely dangerous, and I can't wait to see how all of that does play out. Imagine the amount of through balls Musiala can feed to Kane, or the fact that Nico Williams can find those crosses into the box with Kane meeting those balls. It's going to be insane. So we can see that the sporting plan makes a lot of sense for Nico, Musiala, Olise, and Kane, and Bayern Munich are going to be very happy, and that is the reason why they are really going all in for Nico. Now, what does that mean for FC Barcelona? Now that Barcelona do have the answer, and they know that Nico Williams will no longer be interested in joining FC Barcelona, Hansi Flick is now actively targeting two wingers for the upcoming season, and this is signaling a shift towards reinforcing the wide areas as a core tactical priority, and the main top target continues to be Luis Díaz. Internally, they do view this player as a ideal profile due to his explosiveness, directness, and one-on-one quality. I don't know if you guys have seen the match between Colombia and Argentina. Look at how Luis Díaz was constantly a main threat to the Argentinian defense. The fact that he was making those runs on the left flank, running through the middle, the fact that he dribbled through 5 to 6 different players, and we're talking about the Argentinian defense, and then scored the goal. It is amazing what Luis Díaz can do. Can you imagine that type of threat from Luis Díaz, combining that with Rafinha? The sporting plan there, it is very clear. You put that under the system of Hansi Flick and how he wants his attack to go very vertical, very intense, and extremely fast. Luis Díaz and Rafinha can get the job done. However, his high cost is a major barrier. Barcelona have also made it very clear they will not exceed 60 million euros for Luis Díaz. They don't want to go any more than that, and that is going to match the price tag and release clause of a player like Nico Williams, because that is Barcelona's budget for the attack, is to go to the 60 million euro mark and nothing more. This is the reason why a player like Rafael Leao is not being eyed on anymore, is because AC Milan want to ask for 90 million euros or something crazy like that. And of course, the reason why Barcelona do not want to exceed more than 60 million euros is not because they only have 60 million euros. It's mainly because they also want to reinforce other positions in the defense. For example, Barcelona's plan is going to be to spend 60 to 65 million euros on a player like Luis Díaz and then go for Grimaldo right after. Another player Barcelona is going to be eyeing on is going to be Ivan Perišić, and he has emerged as a potential short-term alternative to the left wing position. Now, remember, keep in mind, Barcelona are going to be signing Perišić no matter what, whether they sign Luis Díaz or not. Perišić Perišić is just going to be there to add more quality on the bench and nothing more. Hansi Flick appreciates his tactical intelligence, versatility, and work ethic. Of course, they do have that chemistry when Perišić was at Bayern Munich and Hansi Flick was the coach of Bayern Munich. So Perišić is currently waiting for a formal offer from FC Barcelona, and in the meantime, PSV are prepared to extend his contract, which indicates that they value his contributions after his strong performance last season, where he had 26 goal contributions. Remember, the club's interest in Perišić does not exclude the possibility of signing Luis Díaz. I want to get that very clear. Given Barcelona's intention to add two wingers, it is ultimately going to be Perišić and Luis Díaz. So let me ask you guys this. Are you guys okay with Barcelona strengthening their attack with Perišić and Luis Díaz? Do you guys believe that that is going to be enough? We're going to be having Luis Díaz, Ferran Torres, Lewandowski, Perišić, Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, and maybe a player from La Masia, which is going to be a player that we're going to be talking about in a separate video. So now lastly, I want to quickly touch on what Toni Kroos said about the differences between Barcelona and Real Madrid in regards to the culture within the club. I think that having this type of context is very fascinating, and I have to talk about it because I think that we can learn from this. Toni Kroos said this: with Hansi Flick, some players were excluded from the squad just for being late to a meeting, and we also saw this happen several times at Barcelona. For example, Jules Koundé or Iñaki Peña. And then he said that at Real Madrid, they would have laughed at that. Many times, you couldn't even tell who was late, the player or the coach. These are just different philosophies. Both are valid, but we could say Flick's philosophy is more textbook or a traditional one. So once again, I find this so fascinating because I really do think that this is the main reason why Barcelona were much more successful than Real Madrid in the last season. And I'm only going to be comparing it to the last season because Hansi Flick has just started his era at Barcelona back in August 2024, and already we can already see the differences. And here is going to be one of Hansi Flick's main rules. Same rules apply for all. If you're late, you're benched, whether you are a rookie or a Ballon d'Oro contender. I believe that level playing field builds respect, and youngsters are always going to copy the habits they see. Point number 2, I like that time is a performance metric. Punctuality is tracked like GPS sprint data. It's literally on the analytical board, and it's going to keep these players on their toes to make sure that they don't miss a single minute. I also believe that this is going to add psychological safety for the team. These are clear non-negotiables that remove guesswork. For example, nobody fears hidden double standards. A stable culture is always going to win a culture with star mood swings, like what Real Madrid do have. A collective mindset beats a handful of privileged egos when the chips are down. This is one of the reasons why every time we saw Ancelotti place his starting 11 through the course of last season, he only placed big named stars. This is the reason why players like Arda Güler and Endrick were not really placed a lot, is because even though they were good, Ancelotti was like, no way, I cannot bench a player like Vinicius or Kylian Mbappe or Rodrigo or Bellingham. They must be there because they are big names. It's just literally the players having more power than the coach. But here at Barcelona, it is literally the coach having more power than the players, and ultimately it leads to success. There is a reason, my friends, why we have the domestic treble, and Real Madrid ended up winning nothing. And now the question is going to be, knowing this, is the culture in Real Madrid going to change with Xabi Alonso? Is he going to have enough bravery and enough energy to really tell the Real Madrid players that he is bigger than them and that they have to listen, that it does not matter if your name is Mbappe, Vini, or Trent Alexander-Arnold, or Huijsen, or Rodrigo, or Bellingham, or Tchouaméni, or Valverde? It does not matter. If you are late for something or you're not listening, then you're going to have to sit down. Like, is Xabi Alonso going to be able to say stuff like this? It's going to be very interesting to see how all of that does play out. And let me tell you, if Xabi Alonso does not have that type of character and aggressiveness and bravery within a locker room like Real Madrid, it's not going to end well for both the club and for the coach. So I believe that Flick's strict timing isn't just military vibes. It's not just because of that. It's a system hack that compounds across fitness, focus, and club identity. This type of focus on timing is going to transmit to other things. And so that is it. That is going to be wrapping up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.